Hi, this is Sue Jackson from the Book by Book blog, here with another Friday Reads. So this was a big week for me because, as you probably know if you've seen my other videos this summer, I host a reading challenge every summer, the Big Book Summer Challenge. And it begins in May and runs until early September. And this week, I finally started on the biggest book in my big book pile, Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Yeah, this is a really hefty one. And I admit, I've been putting it off all summer, reading the books that were, for the challenge, a big book is anything 400 or more pages. So, I've been focusing on the 400 to 600 page books. And this one, although my version actually is only 600 pages, they are very large, very dense pages. So, so it's really more like 900 when I look at the other versions that are available. So this is a big one. And I do hope to finish it by the end of the challenge, which is September 6th, Labor Day here in the U.S. If you're interested in joining the fun, there is still enough time left. We've got about a month left to read one big book, or maybe even two, depending on what size the book is and how fast you read. So you're welcome to join if you like. I'll include the details down below in the information section. So I have finally started Anna Karenina. I'm enjoying it so far. Believe it or not, I have never read any of the classic Russian novels by any of the classic Russian novelists. I think we may have read a few short stories in school, but we never covered any of the Russian novelists. So this is my first. And of course, I have heard of this novel many times before in movie adaptations, etc., but I didn't really know anything about the story. So the main character is, of course, Anna. Anna is an aristocrat in 19th century Russia. She is married to a high-level, I don't know if politician's the right word in that era and that place, but a man who's high up in government and has a lot of power and status. They're married and they have an 8-year-old boy and they live in Petersburg. So Anna takes a trip to Moscow to visit her brother and her sister-in-law and their family. And while she's there, she attends a ball and meets Count Vronsky. And even though I know nothing about the story before starting it, I had heard of Count Vronsky before. So apparently it is love at first sight for Anna and Vronsky. But of course, Anna's married. So she returns to Petersburg. She's trying to forget about him, but he follows her there. His mother lives in Petersburg. And, the women in their circle are calling him her shadow because he's like following her around everywhere. And she keeps telling him, where I am right now, she keeps telling him, you have to stop, leave me alone. This can't happen. So that's as far as I've gotten. I am 100 pages in, but it's not very far given the size of the book. So I've been pleasantly surprised too at how readable it is. I worried that the language would be very flowery or archaic, but it's not. It's actually, the novel so far is very easy to read and understand. The story is interesting and engaging. It's got short chapters, so I'm enjoying it so far. And I do hope to finish it for Big Book Summer by early September, so we'll see. It might be a bit of a race at the end. And on audio, I am also listening to a big book, The Accidental Further Adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man by Jonas Jonasson. I tried to say that the Swedish way, I'm sure I failed, but so this book is actually a sequel. The first book was The Adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man by the same author. And, but I think so far, I haven't read the first book, but I think it's okay. The writer seems to be filling in any details that you might need from the first book. So this is a very unusual book. So the 100-Year-Old Man in the title is Alan. He's Swedish, and he is staying in Bali with his friend Julius, who is a petty thief. So apparently Alan and Julius, were buddies in the first book, and apparently they came into some money because at the beginning of this novel, the two of them are just kind of living it up and living the life in Bali, completely unconcerned about money. Well, then they decide to take a hot air balloon ride for Alan's 101st birthday. So this is a big occasion. They take 4 bottles of champagne with them. And things go wrong, as I suspect they always do in this book. And they end up making a crash landing into the ocean. They are rescued, if you want to call it that, by a North Korean ship that is carrying a small amount of illicit radioactive material for nuclear weapons. So the ship does save the 2 men, but now they find themselves as a guest of Kim Jong-un in North Korea. And Alan is pretending that he's a nuclear weapons expert in an effort to preserve their lives. So I can already tell, this book is the situations are kind of outrageous and very funny. But what's interesting is the author also weaves in a lot of world history and global events and even current events. Because Alan has lived for 101 years and he has witnessed, or I think he's actually been involved with a lot of major world events. I think that's back to the first book that shows that his first 100 years was quite eventful. So the chapters are named with the name of the country. So I suspect that once they manage to escape from North Korea, there will be other adventures on the way. So that is the accidental further adventures of the 100-Year-Old Man. And I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm often laughing out loud, so it's a lot of fun. So that's what I'm reading right now. What are you reading this weekend? Please let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, click the thumbs up to like this video and subscribe to my channel.